So let us start. I think now it's better. Uh, profile matching or profile fitting is the next step mostly which is used uh, before your before the
before the
അപ്പളും വേണ്ട ഉള്ളത് തേരട്ടെ ഇത് വെയിലാമ്പോ
okay. So okay. So profile fitting is the first step for any retrieval requirement. The reason is profile matching is used mainly for taking care of the your symmetry, like your space group, your ABC parameters, and also your instrumentation, instrument contribution. Okay, so for refinement, you need to get rid of instrument contribution. Only then you can use that for qualitative analysis or quantitative analysis. So that is the main reason why we do profile fitting. So profile fitting would also take care of different parameters like your symmetry. If there is any change in the space group, you can always use this profile fitting as the starting model. Okay. So for even for profile fitting, you need some models. If you know the model is better. So for that, we will take the data which we have obtained using by using our phase identification. Okay, so in phase identification, we had obtained the information about the space group and ABC parameters. So those things would be we were going to use here, and then that will be the starting model or the initial settings. Okay, so then we will do the profile matching. So profile fitting. So before that, there are different ways of doing, or there are different methods of doing profile fitting. So most common are this Paule method and also Libre method. So in if you use different softwares, they use different methods. But this is just algorithm, which is actually which would always take care of different parameters when doing the fitting. Okay. So for example, if you take your Paule method, so this Paule method would take into account the intensity of each reflection with HKL reflections, and also your ABC parameter, and DEF are normally your angle, okay, alpha, beta, gamma, that those parameters, and also it will take something called as instrument zero error. So this instrument zero error is nothing but it is the error due to the position of your zero position of your tube, okay, X-ray tube and the detector. So in principle, if you bring to zero 2 theta, then what happens? So you should in principle your tube is here and your detector is here. Okay, but sometimes due to some misalignment, there may be some your tube or your detector may be slightly dispersed. So in that case, the peaks that you get will have some shift. So instead of having the peak at this point, the peak may be shifted to some other point. Okay, so this is one of the error which we call as instrument zero error. And also sometimes, as I was explaining in the previous session, so if you don't fill your sample holder properly, what happens? This peak would be, there would be some shift in the peaks. So these are some things which are coming from the instrument error, not the sample. Okay, so there is no contribution of the sample. Instead, it is a contribution due to some instrument error. So this is taken care by one of the parameter what we call as the zero error. Okay, so this I will explain you when we go into the when we open the full proof. Okay, and UEW is your peak width parameter. UEW normally it refers to the peak width due to instrumentation. Okay, it's not just due to your sample. So as I was telling, if you use smaller slits, your peak will be narrow, and if I use bigger slits, the same peak would become bigger. Okay, so these are some things which are not due to your sample. Instead, it is due to different kinds of instruments. Okay, so this has to be taken. This will be taken care by your UVW parameter, and there is also some other peak parameter that you can use. Okay, so this is your Pauli method. Pauli method takes care of all these things, but most common is your Libe method, because for profile fitting you don't worry about too much about what kind of atom it is. So this intensity depends on the atom present in a given sample. But for finding the symmetry and ABC, you don't need actually the atom. Because you are taking the position of the, so your ABC comes from D. D means it is coming from theta. So if you know if you take only, if you take care of theta or the ABC parameter, then that is sufficient to find the lattice parameter, and also your space group. So space group, each space group have different reflection. So that is again dependent on the crystal or the atomic arrangement in a given lattice. So you don't worry
Sorry.
much about, sorry, yes.
Understand.
So
Yes.
you don't worry much about the atom which is present. So this is what Liebe actually proposed. So you don't worry about atom which is present if you want to have the symmetry and the space group. Okay. So the only difference is in the Pauli method you also introduce the atoms. But sometimes what happens if it is an unknown sample, you don't know if it is, or if it is a completely new structure, you may not know the exact positions of your atom in a given crystal. So in that case, you may not be able to directly do all these things. So Liebe, he came with this idea for removing your intensity. So profile fitting, when you're doing in full proof, it is mostly done by Liebe method. So that is why we will use only this Liebe method. And if you go into literature, like if you go search on web, you'll have different types of profile fitting. Okay, so Pauli and Liebe are more common things, and even have some other things. We will not go in detail with that. Okay, so for here, when we want to do this profile fitting, we will try to refine the ABC parameter, alpha, beta, gamma parameter, in case if it is a lower symmetry like monoclinic or other things, triclinic. So and then zero error is you have to do for all the samples irrespective of the symmetry. UVW again you have to do for irrespective of all the sample. Okay, so these things we are going to do the fitting. Then what happens, we have to fix these values, and when we do ritual refinement, we bring in only the atoms. Okay, that means we have to take care only about the intensity in case of your ritual refinement. Okay, so this will come when you do the ritual refinement. So right now for profile fitting, intensity has no meaning. Okay, so that is what that is about your Liebe fitting. Okay, so Liebe fitting will help you to get the symmetry and also the space group. Okay, so whether it is FM minus 3m or if it is FM 3m, so those things you are going to do in using this method. Okay, Liebe fitting. So this will be the again this will serve as the starting point for your ritual refinement, and for profile fitting, your phase identification will serve as the starting model. Okay, so everything is linked to each other, so that is why I am going one by one. Okay, so first you should do the phase identification. So from phase identification, you get a rough idea about what is the space group, what is ABC parameter. Then you use those ABC parameter in profile fitting, and then what you can do is you can get the information about the instrument contribution. Okay, and also the proper parameter for your sample. So what the ABC, what your QLX or any phase identification views is just a starting model or very rough idea. But when you do profile fitting, so the profile fitting use the ABC parameter for your sample, okay, for your experimental data. Then this data will be used in the retrieval refinement as a starting model. So this is linked with each other, okay. So now when it comes to peak, so peak shape will depend on a lot of things. So peak shape, the whatever you have, so it can be either a Gaussian or a Lorentzian, okay. So this is 100% Lorentzian. It will have this kind of shape, and when you go for Gaussian, so it will be something like this, okay. So but this shape depends on the geometry of your instrument, and also your what kind of slits you are using, what kind of solar slits you are using, what kind of conditioning things you are using. So that which I explained yesterday. So all those parameters will affect the shape of the peaks that you get for your data. Okay. So normally what we do is we use something called a pseudo void. Pseudo void is it is a mix of both Lorentzian and Gaussian. Okay. And then you can have different order of this pseudo void. So this is shown here. So but we won't go in detail. So I will give reference for this. So you can if you want to know more detail about that, you can always go for you can check the your the you can go through these references. Okay, so I will share all these things, so then you can, if you want to know more about this, you can go, check the references. Then and also if you see the intensity would decrease with increasing angle. Okay, 2 theta as you go for higher angle, so this intensity is going to decrease. At the same time, the full width of maxima is going to increase. Okay, so if you take here, this is one of the example here. So if you take uh, the full width of maxima, for lower angle it is very less, and as you go to higher angle it is going to increase. Okay, and also as I had already discussed in the previous case, even though you are having only single phase, sometimes what happens, if you are not using a monochromator, then what happens, you will have contribution from both k alpha 1 and alpha 2. So for low angles, this separation would be very, very small. So sometimes your fitting may not be very good in this case, because you cannot really distinguish both the peaks from k alpha 1 and alpha 2. But as you go for higher angle, so here it is at 20 degree. If you go to 60 degree, then you can clearly distinguish the two peaks, so you can have a better fitting. Okay, the same thing happens in case of your much higher angle. If you go to much higher angle, then these two peaks are better resolved, so the fitting will also improve. So these things you need to take care. Well, like you should know these things, because you may say, you may tell, oh, sir, I have done very good fitting and my chi-square is good, but still I have a lot of difference in the low angle. The reason is this. These are the reasons. Okay, because if you are using k alpha and alpha 2, your fitting may not be always good at low angle due to very close proximity of your two peaks. Okay, so the same thing. So all these factors are taken care by your software. You don't have to worry too much. So alternative to your pseudo void, there are other functions also. So these functions will be used to do the to take care of the peak shape. Okay, how the peak shape will look. So the alternative is one of them is Pearson 4, sorry, Pearson 6. So this is one of the function. This is again mixed Gaussian and Lorentzian, and most commonly we are going to use Thomson-Cox testing pseudo void. Okay, so this is one more function which is again a similar function like this, but it is slightly higher end. Okay, or higher, or it will have more parameters. So these are some other things which you can also try when you do the fitting. Okay, so this same profiles can be used for retrieval refinement. Okay, so that is why I'm trying some, I'm spending some time here. So you are going to choose one of these peak shape parameters. Okay, either you're going to use Thomson Fox hasting, or you can also use pseudo wide. Or if you want to try, you can also just do only with Lorentzian or only with Gaussian. So that is left to you. So this you can try one by one. So you can just do only Lorentzian, only Gaussian. So, but most of the times, if you take the peak, so it will look like something like this. So I don't know whether you can see this properly. So this peak at a low angle will have more tail. So you cannot use just a Lorentzian or a Gaussian. If you use only a Lorentzian and Gaussian, you will have a lot of residual, or some part of the peak won't be fitted. So in that case, your chi-square won't be good, or your fitting parameters will not come down. Okay. So that is the reason you need to try different types of functions. Okay. So just a minute. Okay. Someone is asking questions. Okay. So the motif, the example doesn't matter all. So okay. So this in case of your for this question, whatever your it has been asked. So for only for profile fitting, you don't worry too much about the atom which is present in your crystal. Okay. So if you want to know more about the position of that atom, and if it is a completely new structure which is not present in the literature, then you need to go for second approach, which is your direct space matching. Okay. So for profile fitting, we take care only about the space group and also the ABC parameter. So then we try to get rid of the instrument contribution. Okay. So these kind of whatever I'm trying to explain here, the shape of the peak and everything, this depends on the your instrument more than your segment. Okay. So what kind of conditioning you are using? So those things will actually uh, determine the peak shape. Okay. So if you are using a slit, very small slit, then you may get very narrow peak. Okay. And it may even change something like this. Okay. So but if you are using a broader slit, then the shape of the curve would be different, because there will be a lot of scattering also along with diffraction. So this kind of tail, what you see here, this can be due to a lot of scattering which can occur during larger slits. Okay, so those things we are going to take care in the profile fitting. Then we are going to stop all these, or we are going to fix these values in the retool refinement. Okay, so if you have some question, you can still write here. Is there any presentation in which there is a continuous running of ritual for a particular sample from starting to the point? Can we use that in okay, so if you want some document, I will give you the link where I have put some step-by-step procedure. So this I will try to give you. So don't worry about this. So now how to get a really good fit. So how to get the good fit? Not it doesn't mean like, or it doesn't depend only on the kind of function you are using. It also depends on how many parameters. Okay. So for example, there are, if this is some dots. Maybe in some books you get this kind of things. They would have given number for these dots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then they will ask you to join all the dots. So if you don't know if you don't know which point you need to join first, and then which point you need to join next, then what happens? You may not get a good what is it representation of this graph. Okay, so this is just one example. So if there are so many points, and if I use only 5 points to join, so here I am using only 5 points to join, then what happens? It looks like some arbitrary shape. Okay, I cannot make out what is this exactly this cartoon represent. Okay, then if I go for more points, maybe like 8 points, I can see something. I can start seeing something. Maybe there is some. It's maybe some animal or something, but still it is not clear. Okay, and if I use more points, like 11 points, then what happens? You can see there is some mouth, there is some tail, and then there is some legs like that. Okay, and if I use further more points, instead of 11, if I use 15 points, then what happens? I can see this is like a elephant. Okay, so this is one of the example which is actually given fitting an elephant. So if I want to make a very nice diagram of elephant, then I need to try to fit more points. The same thing is with the parameters. If I want to have a very good fit for a given X-ray diffraction pattern, then I need to fit more parameters. But it doesn't mean that you need to fit everything. Okay, so that means you don't try to fit everything. So with this we will see what are the things you need to fit, what are the things you should not fit. Okay, so in principle, if you have more parameters, then you can get a very good fit for your X-ray diffraction pattern. Okay. So now what I will do is I will stop here, because uh, if you can keep going, if I can keep doing this explanation for 1.5 hours, but then we may not be able to try to do what we are doing. Okay, so what I will do is now I will show some examples how to do the profile fitting. Okay, so this is almost like starting for your retool refinement. The same steps will be used in your retool refinement. So that is why what we will do is we'll try to spend some time in making this profile fit. Okay, so uh, so this is some of the ideas that you should know. So I will again share this PowerPoint and everything. So you'll have some reference for that. So now for profile fitting, I will use the wind plotter. Okay. So wind plotter, and also I will use some other extension. Okay. So one more extension is your EDPCR. Okay. EDPCR is nothing but it is edit PCR. So EDPCR refers to editor of PCR files. Okay. So editor of PCR file, then you may ask what is this PCR. So PCR is I will call not a general or a standard word. I call it as a programmable crystallographic reading file. Okay, that means you can give the parameters, or you can give information about crystallography in this file, and then you ask the program to fit all these parameters. Okay, so that is your PCR. PCR means this programmable crystallographic reader. Okay, so now you can actually take existing PCR, or you can actually create your own PCR. So as it is a beginner course, I will show you how to create a PCR, because everyone may not get PCR file directly. Okay, so sometimes what you can also do is you can take a zip file. You can download a zip file from uh, some uh, some of your softwares. Then you can try to convert this zip file into PCR. So this I will show first, then I will go for the creation. Okay, so I'm going to I will try to share all these things. Then you can also try on your own. Okay, so let us try to create PCR by using one of this. Okay, so let us do for phosphogenite. Okay, so if I want to do that, what I should do is I'll just go to, I have to click here shift to PCR, and then I need to locate where is my file. Okay, CIF file. CIF is crystallographic information file. So that means it contains all the information about the space group and your lattice parameter, and also this will contain what are the Wyckoff positions. Wyckoff position is nothing but what are the atomic positions. Okay, so if you click that, then it will ask, okay, oh, this is what you want to do. So I will say what is my radiation. If I want to make X-rays, I will put X-rays. If I want to do for neutron, I will click on neutron. Okay, I will do for X-ray, because we don't worry about the other things. Then you just say okay. So now it has already activated all these things. Okay, But if you just open a empty EDPCR, so if I open a empty EDPCR, then you can see nothing is active here because uh, we have not created any PCR file. Okay, so once you just create a PCR file from SIF PCR, then it is activated everything. And if you go here, you can see patterns. So you can see these are the pattern files, and then you can also see some phase and everything. Okay, so it is showing this is phase for phosphogenite, the phosphogenite, which is your PP2Cl2CO2. Okay, so then if you go to refinement, then you can see here, if you click the profile, then you will see ABC parameters and UVW parameters. So these parameters are taken from the SIF file. Okay, this is not from your sample, but it is from your SIF file. And if you click on these atoms, you can also see the position of atoms. Again, this position of atoms is from your SIF file. Okay, so this is one way of creating a PCR file. So this PCR file will be having all the information about your phases, and this will be useful for doing your fitting. Okay, so now you can save this. If I click save, then what happens is it will be saved somewhere here. Okay, so in your folder. So you can see it has created a phosphogenite PCR file. Okay, so you can see here this is a PCR file. I can open it using a notepad. So if I open this using a notepad, then I can see some of the information here. Okay, so these are the information which is present in that PCR file. So if you see here, there are so many rows. I will explain one by one. Okay, so and only thing is, you can see this is your space group P4 by M DM, and then these are the atomic positions which are there in this sample, and you can see ABC, alpha, beta, gamma are given. Okay, so these are the information normally is present in your PCR. Okay, programmable crystallographic reader. Okay, so now what I will do is, instead of doing this, what we will do, we will start with a completely new sample. Okay, I will close this right now, and also I will try to close all the things. Then what we will do, we will open a data file. So first thing is, you can do your background by using a polynomial, but for beginners, I always suggest do it manually. So as I showed yesterday, what we do is, we will open some of the files. Okay, so I will click here, open button, X file. Then what I will do is, so I think I have sent some data file. So let us use this. So there is a NaCl, which is your sodium chloride. This is very simple example. So let us try to do this NaCl. Okay. So NaCl, if you can open, so you will get, this is your X-ray diffraction for NaCl 5. Okay, or NaCl sodium chloride. So this is your X-ray diffraction. So you can see most of the peaks would start from after your 20. Okay, so for inorganic, mostly it starts from above your 20 degree. Okay, so if I want to know what are the space group, what I do is I go for QuellX. I will open the QuellX. Okay, so this is what we did in the morning. So I will import that file. So I will go to that specific so I'll go to NaCl, and then I'll open this NaCl. So I know this is done with using a copper radiation. I will take, okay, so this is the copper radiation. And then first thing what we do is, we will take the background. So I take a background. I will say it is fine because I'm not much interested. Then I will do with peak search. I have to find what are the peak positions. So you can see it is putting some extra peaks. I want to get rid of that. I will get rid of that. And there is extra one peak here which is not taken. So you can do, you can choose all the peaks which are present, and then what you do, you go for search bar. Okay. So if I want to, as I know it is a NaCl, I will go with the restrain. Okay. So I'll put sodium and I'll put a chlorine. So it is sodium and chlorine, and then I will ask search with constraint. Okay. So now you can see it has put some NaCl. So if I take any one of them, then I can get the starting point. Okay. So you can see here it is not a pure NaCl, because if you see there is some extra peaks here. Okay, we don't know what is the second peak. So let us see. For that, what I do is I will just do a search match. If I do a search match, then I will know what will be the secondary peak. Okay. So the first phase is NaCl. I will take NaCl. Then it is doing something BPD, but it is in the same position. So most of the things are in the same position. Okay. So let us not worry too much, because we know these are some impurity peaks. Okay. That means this is not coming from your NaCl. So this peak is impurity peak. This is a impurity peak. So now what I need is I need starting information about the NaCl. So I have to open this card, and if I open the card, I can get the information. Space group is Fm minus 3m, and then the cell parameter is 5.6 5.63 angstrom. Okay, this is a face centered cubic. So now what I do is, this is the starting point. Let us keep it like that. Okay, I will come here. First thing what I do is I will try to take the background. Okay, so I will select the background using this wind plotter. So now for that, what you do, open your NaCl, then you go for select the background. Either you can do automatic. Let us do manually by going to select background. Okay, and then what we do is we just select the peaks, some arbitrary points in between the two peaks. Okay, so don't put in somewhere here. Okay, so for example, when you're doing this, you can zoom it more, and then you can select the points. Only thing is, don't put somewhere in the middle of the peaks. You should always be in between two peaks. Okay, so I am selecting the peaks, more peaks. If you have more peaks, is good. Then what you do is you have to save it. Okay, so I am taking up to this point, last point, and I am not taking all the points from beginning. Okay, I am not interested in this point, so I don't have to take all the points. So my interest would be from something like 10 degree to maximum here we have up to 90 degree. Okay, so you can collect data even up to 120, 140 depending on your the ability of your X-ray diffractometer. Okay, so if you take more data, it's better, because then you have more peaks to fit. So that will be give better information. Okay. So now I have selected the peaks. Then I'm going to save the background point. So once I save, sometimes it gives some error, but background, I will save it as .xy. Okay. Background.xy. So it says 19 points are there, and if you want to see, you can see these are the 19 background points. Okay, so now we have done the background points. So next step is you have to create a PCR file. Okay, so if you want to do the profile matching or even for retool requirement, you need a PCR file. So for that, I go to EDPCR, which is here. Okay, and then so right now it is not active. So what I will do is, in the previous case I showed how to do from CIF file, but now I will show how to do a starting from the scratch. Okay, so you can click here, new data. Okay, if you click on the new data, then you can see all these things are active. So now what you're supposed to do is you go from top tab till the last tab. So you have to fill all these tabs, okay, one by one. So general means you can give a title. Okay, so what I will do is I will give, this is a profile fitting for profile fitting of NaCl. Okay, so this is my title. For this you can give anything. Okay, so it doesn't matter, it's just a general title. Even you can leave it as empty, there's no problem with that. Then what you go for the next one, pattern. Okay, once you click the pattern, again you can see nothing is active here. So how to make it active? you just click this add. Okay, if you click this add, once you click the add, it gives okay, everything is activated. So you go for this data file, you click again one by one. Okay, so I'll go to data file. So in this data file, it will ask what kind of data you are going to you want to fit. So in our case, it is X5 format. So you can use X5 format, or you can use the free format that I showed in the yesterday. Okay, so or you can also use a Panadical directly XRDML file. But always, as a beginner, better you use only the X5 format. Okay, so I will click this is the X5 format, and then you need to select the data. So the data is in that I'll go here NaCl. I'm going to open this data. Okay, then you go to the next tab, which is your refinement simulation. So here you have to give what kind of data you are going to fit. Okay, so whether it is a X-ray data, or whether it is a neutron data, or whether it is a time of flight data. Okay, so even for synchrotron you have to use the X-rays. Okay, whether you are fitting the synchrotron data or X-ray data, you have to use these X-rays, but then you have to change the wavelength. Okay, in this case I'm having copper. If I'm using a molybdenum source to collect the data, then I have to change this here. Okay, and then if you are using your different synchrotron, then what you can do is you can also define user defined. So if you put user defined, then you can change these values. Instead of this, I can put 0.789, and then this is lambda 1, lambda 2 refers to k alpha 1 and k alpha 2. Okay, if you're using a monochromator, then what happens? Both will be same. Okay, lambda 1 will be equal to lambda 2. So then you don't have to give this same different name. You can put here it is 0.00 or 1 something like that. Okay, but as in my case I'm using copper, I'm going to shift to copper. I'm going to put the copper, and I know that my data has k alpha 1 and alpha 2, so I will keep it as k alpha 1 and alpha 2. So always your lower wavelength will be first, which is your k alpha 1, and then this is your k alpha 2 for your copper radiation. Then you go to pattern or peak shape. Okay, so this is what I explained before. So if you go click on this drop down button, you can see there are so many different functions. There is a Lorentzian function, there is a Gaussian function, there is modified Lorentzian 1, 2, then there is a Pearson, pseudo void. Okay, so all these functions are there. You can choose any one of them. Okay, so we will for this demo I am going to use only the Thomson Cox testing, because this is one of the advanced profile. Okay, so I'm using a profile as a Thomson Cox shape, peak shape. Then you can use this scattering. Okay, scattering is nothing but your x-axis. What is your x-axis? In your in my data, x-axis is 2 theta, so I'm using 2 theta is my x-axis. Okay, uh, but if I'm having time of flight data or something like kilo electron volt, accordingly you have to change. But for XRD, it is always 2 theta. Okay, and you can also restrict the theta range. So if I want, by default, it will be from 0 to 180. Then this the step size will be something like that. But you right now I'll just leave it like that, because I will show in the next step. Okay, don't worry about so many, these things. So in data file, you select the data, your data file in XY format. Then in refinement, you use X-ray, and then choose the proper radiation. Okay, wavelength. Mine is copper, so I'm using copper. If it is a cobalt, then you just select the cobalt. As it is having both k alpha 1 and k alpha 2, I'm using both the wavelength. If not, you can use only one wavelength. Okay, and then peak shape, I'm keeping it as Thomson Cox. Okay, so this is the first tab. So next tab is your background. Okay, so what kind of background you want to do? So as I told, you can do a lot of different backgrounds: 6 coefficient polynomial, 12 coefficient polynomial, so or just some coefficient 4 coefficient expression. So better for beginner, I will use linear interpolation between a set of data points. So before starting the EDPCR, I selected the background points. So if I click this, then what happens? I can actually import them later. Okay, I will show you how to import the data which we have saved. Okay, so use this linear interpolation, then say it is okay. So next go for the excluded regions. Excluded region means, as I told, your wind plotter or your full proof will fit from 0 to 180. So, but if you want to get rid of some points, okay, so for example, I want only from 10, so I don't want, or I want only from 50 up to 90, then you need to exclude the other regions. Okay, so I want, then in that case what I will do is I'll put two excluded regions. So you can see it is giving some option here. So the first excluded is 0 to 15. So I don't want to fit the data between 0 to 15. Next, I don't want to fit the data between 0 to, sorry, 90 to 180. So this is the meaning of excluded region. Then you press OK. Okay. So then you don't go to the next one. You just click OK and always save it. Okay. So you give a name. We will go to that same folder, NaCl. Okay. Then I will give, this is the NaCl profile. So when you are giving name for this PCR file, always give continuous names. If you are giving space in between, then your full proof program sometimes won't work properly. Okay. Same thing with your data. If you are giving a data file, like here I have given NaCl1, I have I am writing it continuously. If I give NaCl space 1, sometimes your profile, your full proof will not work properly. So that is why always give a continuous name. Okay. Same thing for your PCR file. Give a continuous name. If I give space here, then it will be getting confused. Okay. So if I save this, then what happens? I will go to this folder. Okay. I will go to this folder. So you can see here, there are 3 files. What are these 3 files? The first file is your data file, sorry, your background file that we have saved. Then this is your data file. Okay, so the data which we have got from the X-ray diffraction meter, and this is the profile PCR file. Okay, so now what I will do is I will also open this in the side view. Okay, so you can see this is what you see here. Okay, so now if I go back and there are 2 ways of using this PCR file. Either you can use your EDPCR and make the changes, or you just open a notepad, you can make the changes. So this excluded regions I gave 0 to 15. So if I go back here and if I change that excluded region to something like 0 to 20, instead of 15 I'm going to do 0 to 20, and then I will save it. And if I go here, it will ask to update. Okay, I will, if I update, you can see here the excluded region is 0 to 20. Okay, then there are some other codes here. So JOB refers to what kind of data you are using. Okay, so if you go here and data file, if I change from XRD to Neutron, okay, I'm changing to Neutron, and then if I save this, it will ask to update. Then you see it become JOB is equal to 1. Okay, if I'm using Neutron, JOB should be equal to 1. But if I'm using X-ray, so what I will do is I will change it to 0. Okay, so if I check that, then it will become 0. Then there is something called excluded region. So we have put 2 excluded regions. So it is giving n number of excluded region is 2. Okay. Then number of background, by default it will take 10, but later we will change. Okay. Then there is also something called as NPR. NPR is your peak shape. Okay. So if you go here from instead of Thomson Cox, if I use something like pseudo void or Pearson, okay, and if I save it, then what happens? That particular 7 will change to different number 6. Okay, so this is how either you can, if you are not very good in coding, you can use this graphical user interface, GUI interface, EDPCR. If you are good in coding, if you can remember these parameters, then you can directly use this notepad. Okay, the same thing is with your wavelength. So lambda 1, lambda 2 refers to your wavelength. As it is copper, it is giving 1.5 something. Okay. So now what I will do is I will change back to Thomson Cox because this is not really good. This one. So I am using Thomson Cox ST, and I will also show you what. So this, instead of copper, I will use molybdenum, and I will save it. Okay. So now this should become. So you can see it changed to 0.7. Okay. So this is your lambda 1, lambda 2 for molybdenum. Okay. So let me go back and change it. Okay. So this is my copper radiation. So now if I come back, it will change back to 1.54. Okay. 1.54, 1.54. This is uh, your lambda 1 and lambda 2. So then we will go to the next one, which is your phases. Okay. In phase, you can again it is inactive, so add this phase, first phase. Then it will ask what kind of calculation you want to do, whether you want to do ritual refinement or you can go for different types. Okay, whether you want to do magnetic refinement. So here what I will do is I will take profile matching because I want to do profile matching. So I will use profile matching with constant factor. Okay, and then I should also give the contribution of two patterns. Okay, contribution means what kind of contribution. So I am going to click this as if I click this, now again you are getting the same thing. Okay, this is the same thing what you have given in the patterns. Okay, so I'm using X-rays, then and also I have to give the peak shape. So in my case it is Thomson Cox. So you can try different things in your case, and then I will say okay, and then I need to give the symmetry. So symmetry means what is the space group. So for this you can go back to your Quellex. So this is it is for NaCl Fm minus 3 is the space group. So you just plug in the data. Okay. So when you give the space group, you have to give the same form. Okay. F is capital space, then M space minus 3 space M. If you don't give this form, if I remove the space in between, then your full proof will not recognize the space group. Okay. So once you give this space group, click the symmetry operation. So this means it will generate some space, some symmetry related with Fm minus 3. Okay. F means it is face centered. Then it has different symmetries, mirror symmetry and inverse symmetry. Okay. So this you need to know about space group and all those things. So let me close this, and then I will close this also. So if I want to name, I will say okay, this is a NaCl phase. If I have second phase, then I can put the name of second phase. So as I have only first phase, I have put NaCl. You can name anything, it doesn't matter. Okay. So now if I save this, then what happens? We'll go back. So it will update the values. So here JBT is equal to 2 means it is a profile fitting. Okay. If I change it to ritual refinement, okay, so like your structural model, if I change it to structural model, then what happens? This will become 0. JBT will become 0. Okay. Then so let us go back to profile fitting. Okay. Profile fitting with the constant scale. So this should come back again to this will change to 2. So next we have finished the general pattern phases. Next thing is you should go to refinement. In refinement, you can control number of cycles. How many times this program should run? I'll put initially 10. You can put 50, 100. So it will run 50 times. Okay. So then what I will do is I will also take the background and I will import the background file. So the one which we saved before. So I will go back to this SIT, then NaCl. So sometimes it is not coming, so there is some error. So you just try to type it, so you can see this is coming here. So initially what happens, all 2 theta and counts is 0 0 0. Once I do this, what happens is it will take the data from the file. This is the points which we saved before. Okay, so you can see now it has taken 19 background points. So this is your manual background points. So I will close this again and I will save it. So now you will see this background, whatever you see here will change. Okay, so you can see it has updated. So now it has 19 background points, and these are the points which are present in your background. Okay, so this is how you need to know both you should also know both the things. So next, what are the things you should also do? You go to this instrumentation and click 0 error. Okay, and then save it. So now what happens, you look here. Okay, 0 error, the code is 0 0. Now in principle, okay, there is some error. So this you should change to 1 1. Okay, once when you say 1 1, that means you're refining or you're changing the 0. 0 is your 0 error, which I was talking about in this case. Okay, so in this case, your instrument 0 error is controlled by this parameter. Okay, 0 parameter. So if I go back to EDPCR, so now if I go back to this instrument, you can see it is click. Okay, so next thing what you're supposed to do, as I told, we are not interested in atoms, so don't use the atoms. We will go to the profile. Okay, I'll go to profile, and then I need to give ABC parameter. So this ABC parameter, again you have to take it from your 12x. Okay, so this is the starting ABC parameter. So I will copy this 5.63. Then I'm just going to paste here. Okay, so this is paste. I have to paste in all the three, and as it is a qubit, it is 90 90 90. Okay, so if it is orthorhombic or if it is monoclinic, then your beta would change or gamma would change. In this case, it is everything is 90 90 90. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to say okay, and I'm going to save it. So now if I go back to my this one, so right now it is ABC000. Once I update this, as it will give the values which I have copied from the Quillex. Okay, 5.6393. So now right now this is there. So first run, before you do the first run, what I do is I will just refine, go to refine, go to this profile, and I click this. Okay, so right now below ABC it is written as 0 0 0. Okay, so we will see what happens after this. Okay, I'll click here. Okay, okay, I save this, and when I come back here, you can see this changed to 20 21 21 21. This means this is the second parameter that we want to refine when we are running the program. Okay, so now the first is 0 error, which is from your instrument. The second one is ABC parameter. Okay, so now what we do is I will get rid of all these things, and I will keep only the your this one. Okay, so now how to run the program? So either you can run the program using your EDPCR. So we have given all the information about space group and all the things, and it has already taken UVWXYZ. So you just leave it. So this is your default values. So now what if I want to run the program? I have to just click here, run full proof program. So if I click here, then what happens? It will ask the data file. So I am going to just take this is my data file, and if you leave it, then what happens? It will try to do the fitting. So you can see you have some fitted data. Okay, so this is, if you can zoom here, you can go here, you can zoom it. So if you see here, what happens, you can see it is fitting most of the peaks here, except the peak which is here somewhere here. Okay? So that may be due to some secondary phase, as we explained in the Quillex. So now you check this chi-square, it is 3.44. So this is somewhat okay, but we can improve that. So I will show how to improve it. So once you exit, then it will ask if you want to change. Yes. Now if I go back to this notepad, this notepad is also changed. Okay, so you can see here, this has changed a little bit. One more thing what you should do is, in your notepad there is something called AUT. You make this AUT equals to 1. So once you make AUT equals to 1, by sometimes what happens, you may have done some mistake. Okay, in case of this cubic, A is equal to B is equal to C. So when you do some mistake like this, you give a different number, and once you put AUT is equal to 1, then your program will take care of all this kind of simple mistakes. Okay, that is why you always make this as AUT is equal to 1. So now I want to see the fitting. How to see the fitting? You just go to this win plotter. There is something called as prf.prf. Okay, so you click this prf, and you will see there is some folder file here which is with having a extension of prf. You open this. So this is created by the program. When you run the program, this is created. So now if you see here, the peak position is fine because it is almost taken care. But only thing is, peak shape is not good, because red dots are your data points, and your black line is the fitted data or your experimental data. Okay, so both are not matching very well. So it is not matching well. Only the peak position is matching well, because you have done the ABC. You have tried to do the fitting. So now what we will do is, we will go back to the refinement, and we will try to do refinement of x. UEW are the peak shape parameters. Okay, so as you are using Thomson Cox, try to do with x. If you are using some other like Gaussian, then you have to do with the UEW. Okay, so let's see only with the x. So I will do this. Okay, I'm going to change this. So I will go here. So if you, I think it will, so I'll go to profile, click this X, and save it. Okay. So now if I come back here, you can see it has put some value for X. Okay, so ABC is changing, your 0 is changing, along with that your X is also going to change when you run the program. So now I will again run the program. Okay, so now we will see what happens to your chi-square. Okay, so you can see the chi-square, it has decreased. Yep, it has come from 3 point something to 1.5. So this and if you see the peak fitting, now it is better. So we will see again there. Okay, in the next one. So if I go here, you can see your ABC has changed, your X has changed, and also your 0 has changed when you run the program. So this is one thing. This is the first very simple example. So it is we'll do this. Now what we'll do is, if I go back here, I can see it is already fitted very well. So if you see the fitting, so this black line is almost on all the points of this red one. So this is very simple example. So you got fitting easily. Okay, but all the time this will not happen. There will be always some kind of error. So we will see in some other example. Okay, so then you can see here, below each peak there is some green line. So if I click on green line, it will give what is the HKL. So this the HKL of this Miller indices for this peak is 111. And okay, then if I click here, this peak is from your 200 Miller indices. Okay, and then you can see all other peaks 220. All these things would be there. Okay, so 222. So this is one way of this is the simple example of your NACL, and we have done the profile matching. So now if you go back to this notepad, you can give this is your refined parameters. Okay, so 5.64 is the refined parameter, or this is the ABC parameter for your given sample. So if it is a monoclinic, then maybe you need to define also the beta or gamma, okay, depending on the symmetry. So this is one of the simple profile fitting what you have done, okay. So you can see here there is still not good fitting in the lower peak. So if I want to improve that, what I do is I will try to refine some other parameters like your UVW parameter. Always you do reverse order, okay. I will do the W fitting, and if I will see whether I can improve it, okay. So I will save it. So if I go back here, so W is not having any code, but once I click yes, then it will show this is the fourth parameter. If what is the meaning of one? One means this parameter is going to change when you are doing the fitting. If I put 0, that means it is not going to change. Okay, so that is the meaning of this 1 and 0. And 1 means it is changing in order of 1. So this again is taken care by your software. We don't worry too much about that. Okay, so now I will go back here and then I will try to run the program, and I will see if it has any better impact. So you can see this difference has come down a little bit, and even the chi-square has gone slightly down. Okay, so now if I go here, you will see it has slightly changed. W has changed, and if you see here, you can see the fitting is better, not really good, but it is better. But this is what I was telling, like when you go for lower angle, so this two peaks are not well defined or well separated, so sometimes the fitting may not be good. But if you take the higher angle peaks, you can see here the fitting is better. Okay, so in these peaks this fitting would be better. This means this is good, like this is almost a really good fit. So you can stop at this point with for the profile fitting. Then you can introduce your atoms. Okay, so this is one way of doing your profile fitting for single phase. Okay, so this you need to try, and you need to practice this during the weekend. I will also show one example for maybe for two phase or three phase. Okay, so if you have any question, you can take question, then I will go for the next question. Okay. uh, okay, so is it necessary to mention the excluded region, or we can leave it empty? You can leave it empty, it's not a problem. Your in that case what happens, if I leave it empty, so in that case your program will try to find the first data point. So in this case, so if I open, so I have started from 20, but if I open my data, so I will try to just put one more, I'll just try to open this data. Okay, I think so I will open this data. If I open the data, you can see there is some this data is not good. Like, in the sense there is some noise. So I want to just avoid this, because if I consider this, then it will think there is a peak here. Okay, your program will think there is a peak here. Then your chi-square will be higher. Okay, your refinement parameter will not come down. So that is the reason I try to take from very maybe you can start from 10 or 15 or 20. So then in that case what happens, it becomes very straight line. So that is if you just leave it empty, then it will try to fit from this starting point. Okay, so it will start from whatever data it is, like 5 around 5 degree. So your program will start fitting from the 5 degree, and then it will fit all the data, whatever is present in your data file. So you can leave it empty, but only thing is just to have better parameter, I just did that. Okay. Next, show us how to set the put parameter for refinement in more than one phase. Yes, I will do this. I will try to do this. So polymorphs, if there is a two phase, we are going to do that. Yes, yes, I will show. I will share the videos. Okay, so once this recording is finished, I will share the videos. Even yesterday, I would share the videos. In addition to chi-square value, what else we must check for a good fit? Okay, so okay, so now as I told, one thing is, if you want to know whether it is a good fit or not, one thing is by seeing the fit. Okay, you can see whether your data point and the uh, calculated point. So you can see here y observed is intensity observed. Okay, y refers to intensity. Intensity observed is in that means your data file is in red, and y calculated is the calculated intensity. Okay, so if these are two are matching well, that is one way of to tell it is a good fit. There are some other parameters which we will again see one by one. Okay, and also you should see this blue line. Blue line should be as straight as possible. It may not be 100%, but you can see here this is a quite straight line. Okay, so that is one way to do it. And then there are some other parameters. I will tell you the parameters. Okay, so how about U and V parameter? Do we need to refine that for Q? See UV, W, X, Y, these are the parameters which are for instrument correction. This is nothing to do with your symmetry, whether it is cubic or monoclinic or anything. This is not much to do with your symmetry or your sample. UV, W, X, Y, X, Y are for correction of your instrument. Okay, if I'm using a different slits, if I'm using a different geometry of on my diffractometers, then the UVW would change. Okay, uh, so these things would take care of the your uh, XY. Okay, so when you're doing with Thomson Cox, always try to do with X and Y. That is sufficient. If it is not giving really good fit, then you can go for W. Okay, but when you're doing your Thomson Cox, don't refine your U and V. It is not advised to do that. But someone asked this, like, what happens if we select Y? So you can also select Y. So this is about the function that is used. Okay. So for example, I wrote some equation here. Okay. I will try to show this. Okay. So this is for pseudo-wide. Pseudo-wide is n into L of x plus 1 minus n into g of x. But for Thomson Cox, it is a integral part. So I will try to share that equation. Okay. So there you don't have to change the u and v. Instead, you have to change x, y, and sometimes maybe the w. Okay. So so these are things that you need to take care based on the type of uh, peak shape function that you are using. Okay, so those things are there, and then here the position of atom are not mentioned and not refined. Why? So as I told, we are doing only the profile fitting, not we are not doing the we are not doing ritual refinement. So once we do the ritual refinement, then we are going to introduce these atoms. Okay, so we are just checking whether our space group is correct, and also we are trying to get the ABC parameter and also correction for your of your this one. Okay, what is that instrument? Okay, so UVW is mainly for UVWXY is from instrument contribution, not from the your sample contribution. Okay, so we are trying to correct those things. So that is the reason we don't want to bring too many things. So if I bring in the atoms, then that itself is one more parameter. Okay, so for profile fitting, you don't worry about the atoms. Okay, so then what is good fit for of chi-square value? So again, it depends on software and everything, and also the data. Okay, so in this case, our data was very good. Good in the sense, you can see there is less noise in this case. Okay, there may be some sample, some data where it is having a lot of noise. In that case, you cannot reach less chi-square. Okay, because I will give you the relation between chi-square and everything. So there are other parameters also. So as I told, let me show that. If you go to edit file, so what you do is in this WinPlotter, go to external application, then edit file. You go to something called as there are other things like sum and out. You can go for sum, and you can open this sum, okay. And I will also open the out parameter out file, okay. So this is your sum file. So if you go here, it is giving something called as R factor, okay, Bragg R factor, and also RF factor, okay. And then if you go slightly higher to the upper part, there is something called RP, and then there is also called as RWP, okay. This is for profile, this is weighted profile, okay. So even these values and also RWP and chi-square, okay. So chi-square depends on these factors, okay. And these factors will come down only when you have very good data. If you are taking a very noisy data, then these factors will be high, and then what happens, your chi-square will not come down. So sometimes what happens is someone asked yesterday whether we can do retool refinement on a very low intense data. You can do ritual refinement. In that case, what happens? Your chi-square cannot be low. It will be around 4 to 5 chi-square, okay? Because your RWP would be higher, okay? So these things are interrelated. So I will again discuss this on Monday morning when we talk about the ritual refinement, okay? So chi-square, anything between 1 to 3 is good for a profile fitting, okay. And it depends completely on the data, kind of data you are having. If you have really good data, then chi-square can go close to 1. But if your data is not good, then what happens, your chi-square will be always higher, okay. So chi-square depends on a lot of things, not only just fitting but also your quality of data, okay. So some more questions, I think. Okay, what is good? Okay, how can we explain the term y obs minus y calc? Yeah, this has meaning. Why obs minus y calculated is nothing but it is the difference between your difference between the curves, okay. If I have, so if you see here, the difference is very less. So you can see there is a slightly higher intensity, so this is slightly high. But if you go to this peak where you have more difference, it is more clear here, okay. So this y obs minus y calculated means it is a difference between your observed, that is your data, and the calculated one. So if you have more difference, then this will shoot out, okay. So it will become very big peak, okay. So right now it is fitting well, so you don't see that. And if you see here, you can see, so this peak is not fitted, so your obs is giving the difference plot is giving more um, more intensity here, okay. So this has a meaning, everything has a meaning, okay. So you need to check that, okay. So y this is the difference between the calculated and the observed data, okay. So if we run the program and the parameter are not changed, but if the fitting process is optical value, then can we undo the changes? Yes. So see, as I told, this is a least square fit. Okay. So whatever we are doing, ritual fit or profile fitting, this is a least square fit. You can always undo and redo the fittings. So that is what I try to show in this diagram. Okay. So if I want to have good fitting, I always take more points, okay. Sometimes I can stop with this 11 points. I can fit only with 11 parameters. I can say, okay, this is elephant. But if I do more more parameter fitting, I can get better picture of the elephant. So this is depending on you, okay. You can fit more points, or you can try to uh, have less points, okay. So this is again your, once you keep doing, so this retrieval refinement is like more, if you do more trials, you get better idea. So this is like you have to do trial and error. Sometimes it may even the program may crash. So don't worry about those things. You can again start from the beginning. So if you keep doing more times, then you become more adequate, or you become more used to this fittings. Okay. So there is nothing like, even I will not say I am very, what is the expert. Okay. I am still learning. So even more times I do, I learn a new thing. Okay. So this fitting is also same thing. So each time you do a fitting, you learn new things. Okay. So this is what, there is nothing called as optimum until unless you know what you are doing. Okay. So RWP value, so I will again explain this. What is the meaning of RWP? What is the meaning of REXP? How to get chi-square? All those things. So I will explain on Monday morning session, because that is more of Monday morning is more of the theoretical part. Okay. So okay. Possible to start 9:45. Okay. See, I can start 9:45, but it will again drag to slightly more time. So, if you are missing some things, anyhow, we are we are sharing all the videos. So please go through the videos. So even skip some sessions, you can, as we are sharing the videos, you can go through the videos and try to cover the things which you have missed. Okay, so sorry for that, because even right now it is already one. I want to do more example. Okay, so you can see there's it's sometimes time is a limit. Okay, so that is what we are having. That is the drawback of this kind of thing. Okay, so which RP values we have to consider? So this again I will explain again on the Monday. Okay, so what are the uses, okay, of these things? Uh, so I share all these videos on YouTube, and I will give the link to your email. So even for yesterday, I think you have received an email with YouTube link. So I will send to everyone. So everyone will get link for this YouTube videos. Okay. So once this recording is finished, we will download those recordings, and then we will put. I will share the link to your email. So everyone who have registered, I think you are getting emails regularly. Okay. Even the data, I will send you data to uh, practice. Okay. So I think if this is fine, then what I will do is I will try to do one example for two phase or three phase. So I think I will go faster now, because it's already one. Uh, okay, so I think we will do this. Okay, I will take this example because we did this in the morning. I will copy it to that same folder. I will try to share that also. You can also do that. I will send this data again in the email. So this is a three phase. We know we did it in weeks. Okay. So this is the data. So what? Okay. So fine. I will send you. Okay. Uh, I will add you in that list, so you don't have to worry. Where is it? So if you have any queries, you can always send me an email. So I think you have my email. You can send me the email. I will try to send you by this. Okay. Okay. So this is first thing what I do is I will go to Quellex. Okay. And then I will try to open that same file. So it is a three phase. So I'll open here. Copper radiation is good. Then what I will do is I will do background. I will not do uh, slowly. Instead, I try to fast forward. I'll do quick search. Okay, I think it's too much. So we'll get rid of this. So this is, I will do it manually. I have removed this. I will add this pick. I will add something here. Go to next part. I will add this pick. I will add this pick. So if you have some close to 10 picks, is very good. So it's not a problem. But I try to keep more picks so that I don't miss any information. So if you take all the picks, then if there is some impurity peak, then it is easy to know which is the impurity peak. Okay, so I think it's fine. I will just do search match. Okay, let it suggest what are the peaks. So calcium carbonate, yes, fine. Then calcium fluoride, fine, and then chromium oxide. Okay, so we have three phases here. So we will try to do the fitting for that. Okay, so how to do that? Again, what I will do is I will close this. I will go to EDPCR. Okay, I can open from here or anywhere or in the from the Flipbook. So I'll put this is a new file. So I got general. So I'll put there is a three-phase profile fitting. You can give whatever name you want. So it doesn't matter. Then when it comes to pattern, there is only pattern means how many number of files you are giving. This is a three-phase, but it is a single pattern, right? So it is a single file which is having three phase. So pattern is always one pattern. Okay. So pattern is different than the phases. So there is three phase, but on a single file. So it is only one pattern. Okay. So you have to select this. This is a XY format. Sometimes, so this is saved as XY file, so it is not taking it as a data file. Okay, so what I will do is I will just open it in Notepad and I will save this as a .dat. Okay, so the same XY file save as .dat. I will put quotations so that it won't put as a text file. Okay, or you can choose here all files. Okay, so all types save. So now what happens? It made a .dat file. So I can take this directly .dat file. So this full proof will read, or it will. It is easy for the full proof to have .dat file instead of .xy file. Okay. Then this is a X-ray with copper K alpha 1 alpha 2. Pattern is Thomson Cox. It's fine. Then you go to background. I will take this is a linear interpolation. Excluded regions, I will check here. Okay, I don't want to fit everything. Instead, what I will do is I will fit from 20 degree till 80 degree. Okay, so I can have two excluded regions, 0 to 20 or 15. Then this is from 80 to 180. So that means I don't have data in between this range. Okay, so that is the meaning of this. So I will save it. So always try to save with each change. If not, you may lose some information. Then you go to phase. So now I will add the first phase. Okay, I will try to add one by one. So we are doing only the profile fitting. So I will make it as profile. So this is I will call this as CR2 O3. Let us give information about CR2O3. So you go to this file, open the CR2O3 data card. So the space group is R minus 3 and then this. Okay. So come back to this contribution. So this is a X-ray diffraction and peak shape. I want to use Thomson Cox. I will use Thomson Cox settings. Okay. This is X-ray, fine. Then symmetry is, what is the symmetry? Symmetry in this case, it is R minus 3C. Okay. So I use R minus 3C. And then I just click symmetry operation. So it has created. Okay. So I will tell this is okay. Then I save it. Okay. So I will try to open the same in a notepad. Okay. So PCR file. So this is my PCR file for 3 phase. So you can see it has put the first phase with R minus 3C with CR2O3. Whatever you gave in that phase, it will write here. Okay. So now what I will do is I have to put second phase. What I do is I'll click one more. So now you can see it has put one more. Okay. So if I go click this previous phase, it is a CR2O3 phase. If I click next, then this is a new phase. So I will put this is I want to do profile matching of calcium carbonate. Okay, calcium carbonate. You can also put CaCO3. Is not a problem. So then contribution is again it is the X-ray diffraction, and then I put this is Thomson Cox 1, and then the symmetry you have to check here. Again, I will close this and then go to calcium carbonate, and then I will try to click this. Okay. So again, this is again R minus 3C. So I go back here, and then this is R minus 3C, phase C. Okay. So this has taken now the second one. If I save this and if I open this file, you can see it has put the second phase. Okay. So the first phase is Cr2O3, second phase is calcium carbonate. Okay. And it is having R minus 3C. In the same way, I can put the third phase. So again, I'll put add. Okay. So the second one is calcium carbonate, and then okay, I'll add here. Okay. So I'll put this as profile, and this is CaF3, F2. Okay. CaF2 is the third phase. So what are the contribution? Again, it is X-ray, and then I take this as Thomson Cox. And then the symmetry, when it comes to symmetry, I will check what is the symmetry. Okay, so here I click here. So calcium fluoride is Fm minus 3m. So this is Fm minus 3m. So here I need to get rid. Okay. Symmetry. Okay, fine. I will save it. Okay. So now if I go back here in the so now you will see there are 3 phases. The first one is chromium oxide, calcium carbonate, and the last one is CaF2. So there is something called as NPH. NPH refers to number of phases. So as there is 3, it has changed to 3. So then you go to the refinement, and I will put this is a 10. I want 10 cycles. You can put 25, 50 cycles. Doesn't matter. And then background. Okay, I think we didn't do the background. So we will do selection, background selection. So you can see here in this case it is not straight line. Okay, so it need not be straight line because it depends on the sample. Okay, if there is any amorphous form in your sample, then you get more curved background. So as you can see, I am trying to take data points in between the peaks, not in the peaks. Okay, so always try to take in between the peaks, something like that. And then Okay, then you try to take the background points. Okay, select background points. I will take up to the last end, up to this. Then I'm going to save it. Okay, save background. Yes, I want to save it, background.xy or something else. Okay, so it has 20 points. I don't want to open because it's fine. I am happy with that. So I go here, background, import that background. Okay, so if it is not coming, you just type the name, it will come here. Then you can see it has taken 20 points, which is we just saved it. Okay, always come out and then save it. Okay, so if not, what happens, sometimes you will skip it. Okay, so yes, I want to update. So you can see now there are 20 number of background points. I'll also change this AUT to 1. Okay, always use this AUT to 1. This is a good practice, because sometimes by mistake you have done some mistake, simple mistake, then your program will take care of that. Okay, then you go to instrument, change this 0. Yes, okay. Okay, so profile, then let me see. Okay, okay. So this is put, okay, this is changing, so it's good. Now we'll go to the, we have to give the parameters, ABC parameters. So I will go here in the profile, and then this profile is for phase 1. Okay, so you can see here, this is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So phase 1 is our calcium carbonate. So I have to give information about the calcium carbonate. Okay, so I click here in phase 1, go to this profile, and I have to give the ABC parameter for this one. Okay, calcium carbonate. So this is ABC parameter. So your A is equal to B, so 4.988. Okay, then A will be equal to B, so I have to use the same 4.988. Then when it goes to C, C is 17.0607. Okay, so you can give the starting values, and you can see A, B, alpha, beta, and as I put AUT is equal to 1, it has changed gamma to be 120. Okay, so based on the space group. Okay, so sometimes you don't have to you don't have to put everything. Okay, so now I will tell okay, and I will save it. And if I go back to this, then you will see that this program has already inserted the values for ABC for first one. So the second, I think this has something is wrong. Okay, so these values should be coming in the next one. Okay, I think I will copy this directly. Calcium carbonate ABC values. You can also give here. Okay, so what I will do is I'll copy this entire thing, because this was for calcium carbonate. I'm going to paste it here. Okay. Once I save it, then what happens? I just click it here, then we'll say okay, yes. Okay. So and also one more thing is, when you are adding the second phase, you can see, so for UEW values up to X values, for only for the first phase your program is putting the values, but in the second and third it is giving empty. So what I will do, I'll just copy that values here. Oh, I think it is not given even for ABC values. Okay, it is mainly because we didn't give the phase for third one. Okay, so this is CAF2. If you don't save, sometimes it will not keep the values. So contribution is X-rays, then the symmetry is FM minus 3M. Phase, okay, symmetry. So now let us see. Okay, so now you can see it has taken the last one also. So I will try to copy the values. Okay, did something wrong. Okay, I think I will do here only. I'll first copy these values, UVW values. For both the phases. I'll save this and let me see. Okay. So for first profile, this is not the correct one because first profile is for chromium oxide. So I will use the data for chromium oxide. So this is for Cr2O3. I will go back here. So it is 4.957. So same thing for 4.957. Then the last one is CE, the value of C is 13.59. Okay, so I'll give that value, starting values. I will save it. So let me come back and check. So now it has changed the values 4.9, 4.9 and 13.59. So now we'll go to the next phase. So browse this second phase profile. So ABC value for your calcium carbonate. So I'll go back here, calcium carbonate, and I have to plug in these values. Okay, 4.988, and then again 4.988. Okay, and then C value is 17. Okay, 17 point something, 17.067. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and if I come back here, you can see it would have added those values here. Okay, 4.98, 4.98 is fine. So now we need to do the same thing for last one. Go to refinement, go to phase 3, go to profile, and you try to view the values for that. Okay, so calcium chloride, Fm minus 3m, then ABC is 4.9, sorry, 5.46. Okay, yes, 5.46. Sorry, phase 3, 5.46, then again 5.46, again 5.46. Okay, so alpha beta gamma is 90, is good. So now your program is ready. So only one thing is I will try to refine all the ABC parameters. Okay, ABC for your first phase, save it. So if you go back here, you can see uh, your you have to change this also. So I think there is some problem here. Okay, so now this is 0 is changing. ABC for first phase is changing. Same thing I do for second phase. ABC for second phase is changing. Okay, so I come back here. If I see, then you will see it has put some values here. Okay, so as A is equal to B, both will have 41, 40. Okay, but this is not equal to C, so it is putting as 51 for the C parameter. Okay, the same thing I have to do for last one. Okay, so what I will do is I'll go here, refine third phase. So as all three are same, A is equal to B is equal to C, it should put the same code here. Okay, so you can see it is putting 61, 61, 61. So this is just the starting of your parameter, your PCR. So I will just run this. Okay, sometimes this is what happens. So it is not taking the some one of the phases. So what I will do is you can do one by one. Okay, instead of putting all three together, you can do first only the first one. I'm going to cut this. Okay, so just for showing, I'm just doing very quickly, but later you can try yourself. Okay, so I will close that. I'll try to run from this one. Okay, so if there is an error, it will create a new file. So I'm getting rid of that. Okay, I think it is only one. Number of phases is one. So initially I have only one phase. Let me try. So you can see your chi-square is very high. The reason is you are having only one phase. Okay, so if you see here, the observed and the calculated. So red is observed and black is calculated. So black is fitting only few peaks, not all the peaks. So now what I will do is I will go and put the second phase. Okay, so I'm just going very quick, fast. Sorry for that. You have to try. You can try that. Okay. So now what I will do is I'll put the second phase. I will just paste it because I copied it. I will cut this phase. Okay. So number of phases is 2. Now let us see how it runs. Okay. So okay. So there is some problem with the second phase. So we have to take care of that. So let me try. Okay, so what I will do, I will first put the calcium fluoride because both of them are having similar data, so sometimes it won't work. I will try at least to see whether I can get this second one. Okay, 200. Okay, fine. Okay, so there is some problem here in this one, so I will try to do it again later. So but this is how you can do it. Okay, you can add more phases and you can try to do refinement on each phase. Okay, if you have multi-phase, then you change this 1 2 3 and then you have to add corresponding information for all the phase. Okay, and then you can start doing the refinement. So I will try to check this why it is not working, and then I will show you again in the next one. So this is how you normally do it, because even in retool refinement we are going to do multi-phase. At that time I will show how to do the profile matching also. Okay, so if you have some question, I will take this and then I think we will stop at this point. Okay, uh, is there a space between 3 and C? Yes, there is a space in between 3 and C because it is the symmetry that we are going to talk. Okay, so I think if you don't have any question, I will stop, and then we will again continue on Monday at 9:30. Okay, so I'll stop probably the recording.